It's been steeped once before, but it'll still taste good. It's a really expensive tea.
Ooh, thank you, Your Highness. Is it okay if I asked who was here before me at this early hour?
William dropped by about my marriage. Take a sip, Regan.
Thank you, Your Highness.
Regan, how many times do I have to tell you? Don't call me Your Highness when it's just the two of us. You're upsetting me.
You should get used to it, Your Highness.
No wonder you're Ruella's niece. She always insisted on calling me Your Highness as well, even though I was her student.
We were specifically instructed on our graduation day. We must always pay our respects to the royal family. Once you get used to it, you'll be fine. Here's the book you asked for.
Thanks, Regan. I really appreciate it.
I know you like herbology, but why suddenly have an interest in the Empire herbology book?
I might move to the Empire.
The Empire?
I got a marriage proposal as the Emperor's 9th concubine. That's why William was here before. It seems like William wants me to go.
Of course. If you end up having the Emperor's son...
How much power would a concubine from a small kingdom have? Look at my mom. She's so scared of Testi. She won't come out of her palace. Plus, it's the Emperor. How often will I actually see him?
But it's the Empire. If you become his favorite, you'll become untouchable.
I think that's what William wants. I mean, of course, if I can be of help to him, I'll go. I can't stand the thought of Testi's son taking the throne. Not after all she's done to my mom. And about Daniel. I think his wedding's taking place next month. Apparently it's one of the Emperor's sisters, but not decided yet. Daniel and we're doing anything we can to support William against Testi. Regan, I'm sorry.
Pardon?
I knew all along that you liked Daniel. Considering the situation Daniel and I were in, I thought there was nothing I could do, so I didn't even bother asking you. I knew I shouldn't have, but I kept dragging you around to go see Daniel, and always invited either you or him when we were hanging out.
Your Highness, you have nothing to apologize for.
Regardless of the circumstance you and Daniel were in, I was still your best friend. I should have been there for you. I should have at least been there for you to cry on. You treating me like a normal person, and us being able to talk about our crushes like a couple of teenage girls. Those days don't ever come back. It's a shame I only realized that now. I'm sorry I let you go through that alone. What would Ruella think of me?
Your Highness, what are you talking about right now? You did the right thing. I knew there was no happy ending between us anyways, so I was fine. Having the opportunity to like a guy like Daniel, that was enough for me. And thanks to you, I actually got to talk to him. And I'll always be grateful to you for that.
Regan!
And about my aunt...
Your Highness, His Majesty, the King, has just passed away.
Here, these are the drug test results. We've ruled out the possibility of a drug-induced homicide. A drug-induced homicide always leaves some sort of trace within the body. We've conducted every drug test available to us, and we've got nothing.
All right, thanks.
The Office of Investigation reached the same conclusion as well. No one would benefit from His Majesty passing away now. William, as the Crown Prince, is first in the line of succession. However, he has a solid alibi, and none of his subjects are capable of pulling off something like this. Even Testi and Reuven can be ruled out because, with the king having passed away before making Reuven the heir, they have nothing to gain from his death.
Ah, Regan, about the thing you have to do at the Office of Alchemy? How's it going?
Haha, I'm not so sure. I'm trying to figure it out ASAP, but not much success. I don't get much free time at the office, so I haven't really had the time for it. How's life over at Investigation?
I have no life. I don't even know why I ever romanticized the Office of Investigation.
Haha, I can tell from your face. It's good seeing you again after graduation, though. Reminds me of the academy days.
Actually, you appeared in my dream last night. I guess it was a sign I'd see you today.
Hahaha, that's probably... Anyways, what was the dream even about?
I don't know. I don't remember much.
Aha, that's interesting.
Regan.
Supervisor Jeet, what is it?
We need all hands on deck right now.
Huh? I thought we were done for the day.
Prince William just passed away.
Pardon? Prince William? But how could that be? His Majesty just passed away a couple of hours ago.
We conducted a drug test and it came out positive.
So it's likely to be a drug-induced homicide.
It seems that way. We've arrested a suspect. Princess Ashe.
Excuse me?
I might move to the Empire. I've got a marriage proposal. It seems like William wants me to go. Of course, if I can be of help to him, I'll go. He doesn't even have to ask.
We've currently put the palace under lockdown and Princess Ashe and her servants are all under custody right now. We need to test every single one of them, so we need everyone.
No.
Regan.
This can't be happening. She told me she would gladly go to the Empire if it meant helping Prince William. She said that just a couple of hours ago.
Regan, I don't know what your relationship with the princess is, but we have no time for this right now.
Promise me, Caden. Promise me that you'll catch the real culprit.
Regan, I promise.
Regan,
Your Highness, are you okay? How could such a thing happen?
We're here from the Office of Alchemy. As you probably know, we're here to conduct a drug test. So please cooperate. I'll be collecting your blood and saliva.
then is Reuven taking the throne now?
He was second in the line of succession, and with William gone, most likely. How convenient for Testy. I know it's a long shot, but we've got to do something about it. At tomorrow's House of Lords emergency meeting, I'm going to put in a request for the period of doubt. Even though Testy has a lot of nobles on her side, William's death was just so sudden and suspicious. We'll definitely get the votes.
Daniel, I'm going to declare my support for you and drop out as a candidate. No matter what you do, you need to take the throne. I know you never intended on becoming a king, but we need you now more than ever, Daniel. But Daniel, on the plus side, once the period of doubt commences, all ongoing marriage engagements are broken off. And once the period of doubt is over, you have to start over from the very beginning.
Ashe is obviously trying to give me hope, but I couldn't have him when he was a prince. How is him becoming a king supposed to make things better?
You never know. The royal palace is full of unexpected surprises. Just because Princess Ashe was your best friend in the Royal Academy, don't assume she's innocent. She's the prime suspect of this investigation, and we have to be objective. You can never really know someone completely.
But the princess would never do such a thing. She and William were close.
When you've been at the Office of Alchemy as long as I have, seeing and experiencing the things I have, you'll understand. Even with Ruella.
Ruella? What about my aunt?
I had no idea she'd die like that. I also had no clue a hell of a genius like her would go insane like she did. Anyways, we've got a lot to do.
She's hiding something about my aunt. Come to think of it, I heard Saphael and my aunt were inseparable at the Office of Alchemy. What is she hiding?
So we think the tea she offered William this morning may be his cause of death. But if the princess tests positive for the drugs found in Prince William's body, things would become complicated. First, it verifies that they drank the same substance. Then we might be able to rule out the tea as Prince William's cause of death. But then again, if Princess Ashe was behind all of this, it's possible she took an antidote.
Hold on. The tea you're talking about, I drank it as well. This morning, she re-steeped the tea after William had it. Test me. A spell is cast on the Office of Alchemy which prevent any kind of antidote from being absorbed to the body. So people have to leave the office premises to take their antidotes. I've been at the office the entire day today.
According to the order of succession, Reuven would be succeeding the throne, however. Everyone would agree that the series of events that took place yesterday were highly unusual. Last night, William, who had no prior medical condition, passed away suddenly. On top of that, according to the report by the Office of Alchemy, it was a murder induced by a type of drug unknown to them. Seeing there are questions to be answered, as a member of the royal family, I request for the period of doubt. As all of you know, as the son of the first queen, I too have the right of succession. Hence why, I, Daniel Ratanis Amaton III, intend on getting to the bottom of William's death.
Period of doubt. When there's something suspicious about the succession of the throne, during this period, those with a right of succession must gather and present evidence as to why the other should not succeed to the throne.
Seeing a majority of votes in favor, the Amaton Kingdom shall be executing the period of doubt for the next 2 months. I, Reuven Sjef Amaton II, announce myself as a candidate for the throne. Since I was second in the line of succession, unless something comes up during this period, I shall be taking the throne.
I, Daniel Ratanis Amaton III, announce myself as a candidate for the throne as well.
At the end of the period of doubt, there shall be a final trial, where not only the members of the House of the Lords, but the lords from all provinces vote to determine their next king.
According to the bylaws, as the Queen, I shall be taking over the kingdom's affairs during the period of doubt. Therefore, I would appreciate all of your support.
I, Ashe Sinakara Amatan, drop out as a candidate, and I give in my full support for Daniel. That's what William would have wanted as well.
How dare she bring up William in the end?
Mother, don't worry. She's currently a prime suspect in his murder investigation. People won't give it much thought.
According to the Office of Alchemy, her innocence will be proven by the end of today.
What now?
One of the employees of the Office of Alchemy is a close friend of the princess. Apparently, she drank the same tea as William. And coincidentally, the Office of Alchemy is a place where antidotes don't work, so she serves as evidence that the tea Princess Ashe offered wasn't poisonous. Of course, they're still in the middle of investigating, but the employee is very adamant about the princess's innocence, so the results will be out by this afternoon.
Get me everything on that employee.
Magic amplification potion. If she had commercialized this, we would have been rich. Magus would have paid big bucks to get their hands on it. I must have fallen asleep.
Did you have a good sleep?
Caden? Am I dreaming right now? Being alone at the Office of Alchemy with him? Seems like a dream. But the office looks too realistic to be a dream.
What are you doing? What's wrong with you?
Haha. Oops. Definitely not a dream. If it was, he would have kissed me. Regan, get your mind out of the gutter. Geez, I must be going crazy. This is all because he's such a pervert in his dreams. I'm sorry, it was just weird seeing you here, so...
That's okay. I wasn't expecting you to be alone as well. Why haven't you gone home, though?
Oh, I was working on something personal.
It's the thing you talked about before, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess.
Still, you should be tired from staying up. You should have gone home.
You always have to give it your best to live with no regrets.
Regret? Even if you know you might fail? When I didn't really know her before, I just thought of her as a determined and achievement-oriented girl.
At least you can tell yourself you tried your best.
But the more I talk to her, she's actually quite pessimistic. She isn't motivated by success, but rather the thought of failure.
I don't want to hate myself for not giving it my best when I fail.
Rather than being driven by the desire to succeed, it's more about knowing she tried her best when she fails. Is that why she liked Daniel even though she knew it was hopeless?
What brings you here anyways?
I'm here on official business. You were the only one here, but you were sound asleep, so I decided to take a seat. I have a couple of questions for you. Did you drink the tea in the princess's palace?
Yes, she told me how Prince William dropped by earlier, and that the tea was steeped again.
How long were you with her?
About 30 minutes.
What did you talk about?
Just about her marriage, how she got a marriage proposal from the Empire, so she's considering it, and we talked about the good old days at the Academy.
And?
What do you mean by and?
You were there for 30 minutes. That can't be all you talked about.
I don't think that's any of your business.
That's true, but whatever you may be withholding could exonerate Princess Ashe. Plus, you're currently the only piece of evidence that could prove Princess Ashe's innocence. Just keep that in mind. There are no secrets at the Office of Investigation. We will find out sooner or later.
We were talking about the Royal Academy days, and she apologized. She told me she was sorry for pretending she didn't know about my crush on Daniel, and that she should have been there for me, at least be a shoulder to cry on. That's it, really. And then we heard about His Majesty passing away. Why can't I look at him?
Okay then, I'm done here.
Caden, do you want some coffee before you leave? The Office of Alchemy's coffee, it's the best in town. You can't get this coffee anywhere. You should be honored. Although we were in the same friend group for 5 years, this is exactly why we were never close. He was always a quiet one.
Regan. Daniel broke off his engagement.
Yeah, I heard. What about it, though? He'll be married once the period of doubt is over anyways.
If Rouvan succeeds to the throne, Daniel won't go through a political marriage just to benefit Rouvan. If Daniel succeeds the throne...
Caden. Goodbye.
I shouldn't have brought up Daniel. Her messy desk, a lab coat way too big on her, strands of her wavy hair amongst the disorganized papers. For some reason, I can't get those images out of my head. There has to be something I'm missing.
Is this a dream?
Only magic could create a fire that big and leave no trace of evidence. But even if it was magic, the list of magis here is way too short.
Are you talking about the fire that took place 6 years ago in the south of Amaton?
Yeah.
The fire 6 years ago that took Queen Susanna and Caden's parents. While a fire created by magic is relatively weak, it doesn't extinguish easily. It's illogical for a newly constructed royal villa, anticipating the Queen's arrival, to be unprepared for a conventional fire. But the question is, how did such weak flame consume the entire villa? To have caused a fire that big, it would have required almost half of the magis in the entire country.
You're right. So the investigation came to a dead end, and King Jafelton ordered the Office of Investigation to close the case. According to the Office of Investigation confidential files, a palace servant overheard Testi grilling King Jafelton about her becoming the queen. It's no secret that everyone in this palace suspects Testi for that fire. However, as the king's favorite, she didn't even flinch an eye. Can you believe it? The fact that a woman who killed over 100 innocent people is the queen of a country? And the funny thing is, when I look out this window, I would get enraged looking at the queen's palace and then cheer up looking at the Office of Alchemy building. Because inside that building, this stupid girl I know, she's there giving it her best, doing whatever she's doing. God knows what was so important to have made you give up the Office of Investigation.
Caden, let go of me.
What you told me? That you always have to give it your best to live with no regrets. It's been my driving force. Regan, why do you like Daniel?
Excuse me. Caden, wait.
Do you want Daniel to bite your ear like this as well?
What are you talking about, you pervert?
Whenever you see him, do you imagine this kind of stuff?
Have you lost your mind?
Do this with me only. Think of me only. Can I?
Huh? My head was telling me we shouldn't, and I never once thought I liked him, but...
Can I have you?
Why can't I tell him to stop? Caden, that little pervert. He's dreaming about doing all sorts of stuff to me, and yet he keeps on such a scary face while investigating. Ugh, it's killing me that I have pretended like I don't know about his dreams. This is so annoying. Why can't I stop thinking about him?
There are a lot of unanswered questions regarding my brother William's death. None of us expected him to die so suddenly that night. As should the Office of Investigation always keep in mind who benefits the most from his death.
At the Office of Investigation, we refrain from conducting investigations with a specific suspect in mind. That way we can be objective.
Then I'll tell you what I think. This will be useful information for the investigation anyways. I think the Queen and Reuven are behind William's death.
Is that so?
I officially request an investigation. I want you to find everything you can on William's death and write up an investigation report to be submitted as evidence for the final trial. I designate Caden Ruth as the detective in charge.
I see you've chosen your close college colleague.
Ah, did you know of our relationship?
There are no secrets in the Office of Investigation.
I hope you assist him in any way you can.
It's our duty, so you don't have to worry about that.
I'm looking forward to reading the investigation report.
However, Your Highness, I must be clear. The Office of Investigation will not be taking sides. It's up to the Lords to decide. But the Office of Investigation will get to the bottom of this.
The Office of Investigation will get busier. I put in an official request for an investigation.
It's our job anyways. Even if it wasn't for you, we would still be investigating Prince William's death. Unless Reuven succeeds the throne and orders us to stop investigating.
Just like the fire 6 years ago.
Although the Office of Investigation strives to find the truth, as a royal institute, we have to follow the king's orders.
Caden, I cross-referenced the list of magus you gave me with the royal entry logs. There was a magi that visited Testi, who was just a concubine then, very frequently. Her name is Catherine, and she's Testi's cousin. She's running a small potion shop. But get this, she lives quite an extravagant lifestyle. I think I've seen her before. She always shows up to the ball all bedazzled with jewelry.
I'll look into her.
If it's possible, I want to reveal everything at the final trial. The truth behind William's death and the fire. Let's make the best out of this period and get to the bottom of everything before more time passes. I was waiting for William to become the king and reopen the investigation, but if Reuven succeeds to the throne, we'll lose our chance forever. There's something I realized. You should never put something off because you never know what'll happen. So if you want something, you must go for it at that moment.
Where are we going, by the way?
The Office of Alchemy. I've got to put in an official request for investigation there as well.
They're a secondary institute that just delivers results to us so you don't need to go there personally. Why am I stopping him?
That's true, but I think it'll make a difference between me going and not going. Plus, while we're there, should we say hi to Regan?
Do this with me only. Think of me only. I dreamt of Regan again last night. I don't know why I did that. No, in fact, I'm just pretending I don't know why. After all, Regan likes Daniel, and since Daniel broke off his engagement, Regan might actually have a chance with him now. And me? I can't afford to like someone right now.
Having such talented friends at both the offices of investigation and alchemy, I feel reassured.
Until I get the truth and get my revenge, I promised myself I wouldn't get distracted. Until then, I wouldn't stop at anything, not even death. I promised.
This is her?
Yes, Your Majesty. She's Ruella Hagart's niece. As soon as she set foot at the Office of Alchemy, she's been looking through Ruella's research. All her research papers, notes, and scribbles, including her personal diary.
Get rid of her. And can't you get rid of Ruella's personal diary as well?
About that, the Office of Alchemy is a secondary institute that does not take orders from the king, and it's a research institute, so we can't get rid of anything without permission. They archive everything for future research references. Especially with Ruella, she was a once-in-a-lifetime kind of genius, so the Office of Alchemy treats her legacy with great care.
As soon as Reuven becomes king, I'm going to show those arrogant bastards who's the boss. They are nothing but glorified royal lackeys. Have you gotten a chance to look at Ruella's diary?
No, Your Majesty.
Then is there a possibility that girl found out something and is looking into Ruella's past?
It is a possibility, Your Majesty.
Keep an eye on her, and keep me in the loop.
In fact, Prince Daniel is on his way to see her as we speak.
Daniel?
Seems like they were close friends back in the academy.
Then it could just be a friendly visit. A friendship between royalty and a commoner, it won't last.
That's true, but there's another problem, Your Majesty. Caden Ruth? He's Daniel's best friend. The Office of Investigation's finest this year.
I remember him. He was the tall and handsome one getting the certificate first.
I'm not certain, but rumor has it he's investigating the fire 6 years ago.
Elaborate.
His parents died in that fire.
That's not good. If Ashe is close with this girl, and if Daniel is close with this boy, then it's a possibility Ruella's niece and this boy know each other as well.
Yes, Your Majesty. In fact, he's accompanying Daniel to go see her.
We've got to keep a close eye on them. And of course, regardless of how weak a flame is, you've got to extinguish it. Daniel's still a child. I can see right through his little game. Get rid of them quietly. I've been preparing for the throne for years. I won't let a little child ruin this for me in just 2 months.
Your Highness, I'm afraid this will set a precedent. Please refrain from coming to the Office of Alchemy from now on.
I'm sorry, Director. I didn't think my visit would be such a discourtesy.
I know that you came with good intentions, and I am well aware of your situation. However, in homicide cases, the Office of Alchemy merely provides consultation for the Office of Investigation, and our actual job is to create medicines for the kingdom and regulate illegal drugs.
Of course. I didn't think this through.
You can call me heartless, but there are rules and principles we must abide by. So I hope you understand, Your Highness.
Of course I do. Because of Ruella, I must have gotten too comfortable with the Office of Alchemy.
A researcher's only duty is to research. Getting involved in royal affairs has never ended well. So once again, I ask for your understanding.
When I was a mere prince with no responsibilities, I had no idea.
The Office of Investigation requests for cooperation with the Office of Alchemy, so you don't need to go there personally.
Actions I wouldn't have thought twice before are making people uncomfortable now. I should have listened to Caden. Seeing them always makes me feel better.
Can I have you?
It's time you guys opened up to each other, isn't it? Why is it so awkward here?
Your Highness.
Regan, please don't call me Your Highness, not you as well. I can't get used to it.
You know I can't do that. You must be devastated, Your Highness. Last time I saw you at Princess Ashe's palace, I couldn't even give you my condolences.
I don't even have time to be sad. It'll have to wait until the final trial is over. I still can't believe William passed away, but thanks to you, Ashe is no longer detained. They had no conclusive evidence to arrest her anyways, but still she's no longer a prime suspect because of you.
Do you want Daniel to bite your ear like this as well? Whenever you see him, do you imagine this kind of stuff?
I didn't do anything. I was just telling them the truth. Ha! Why did Caden have to say all that to me last night? I can't look at Daniel anymore.
If it wasn't for you, she'd still be detained. Ah, I used to come here often with Ruella. It's been a while, so I must have forgotten.
Here?
Yep, we would stop here usually, because if we walk a bit further, that's Reuven's palace. Regan, I don't want to burden you, but can I ask you a favor? Of course, you can always say no. While you're investigating William's death, if you come across something that seems weird or doesn't seem right, let me know. Can you do that for me? Can you promise?
Of course, not only will I report it to Director Raphael first, I'll let you know. Although, I'm not sure if a rookie like me would get to work on an important case like that, but of course, you can count on me.
And if Caden ever asks for your help relating to your expertise, please help him out, even if it's not related to William's death. It's really important to us.
Yes, Your Highness. Caden and I are already good colleagues, and I already told him I would anyways.
Good colleagues?
It's here this year as well. Whenever Aunt would take me to see Dad at the monastery, he would refuse to even look at me. Seeing how devastated I got, she stopped taking me to see him when I turned 8. Since then, I've never visited him. But every year, he would send a flower basket to her grave. Huh? This bouquet always get misdelivered every year. Who is it actually for? My aunt used to hate roses because of their thorns. Even worse, she hated it so much because of its bloody red color. Aunt, how are you doing? I'm swamped with work, but on top of that, I'm working on the antidote. It's exhausting trying to decipher your horrible handwriting. I always thought I wouldn't be able to sit still and just do research, but turns out when you're desperate and in a hurry, you can. I've actually made some progress. Last night, I almost succeeded. The palace is a mess right now. His Majesty and Prince William have all passed away, and Daniel's fighting for the throne now. Life's just full of surprises. It's no fun talking by myself. And there's this guy called Caden Ruth. It's complicated. Anyways, Aunt, I'll be back soon. But thanks to all you've done for me, I'm doing really well. No matter how hard life gets, I get by every day remembering all the love you've given me. When I create the antidote, I'm going on a long vacation, and I'm going to think about ways to live my life to the fullest. Although it's not at the right spot, it's still on my aunt's grave, so thank you for the roses, mysterious person. I think they're beautiful. See you again next year?
Regan.
Your Highness?
Good morning. You must be on your way to work.
Yes. By the way, what brings you here?
Funny running into you here. Do you want to take a walk with me? Regan, you took magic as your elective course. How much flame can you create with magic?
Not much. There isn't much magic left today, so it's impossible to create flames big enough to burn like the ancient times.
So the flame size has nothing to do with the Magi's ability, but just with the availability of magic?
A Magi's ability to use magic depends on his or her ability to harvest magic from its natural state and use it.
So if there's a lot of magic available, there could be a big fire?
Theoretically, yes. But as I said before, there isn't much magic left, so where are the Mages going to harvest that much from? Unless there's a magic amplification potion or something.
I see. Thanks. I'll walk you to the Office of Alchemy. You've been so much help.
I don't know why you're suddenly curious about that, but I'm glad I helped. You could have just called me. You didn't have to come all the way here.
Caden's on a business trip, so I had to come.
I see. Now that I think about it, I haven't dreamt of him in a couple of days. That means he hasn't been sleeping well. I hope he's taking care of himself.
The magic amplification potion you talked about before, does it exist?
I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's impossible. Magic is dangerous. Even my aunt experimented with magic quite often, but with no success at all, not to mention the side effects. If even my aunt failed, others wouldn't even have gotten anywhere near it.
I see. Thank you.
I didn't even do much.
You look good in your glasses.
Pardon?
Have a nice day.
Yes, you too, Your Highness. Your Highness, hang in there. After my aunt passed away, I tried really hard to keep myself together. Being alone, it's hard, but you get better at it as time passes. So despite all the pressure and burden, Your Highness, think of all the people around you who love you dearly and hang in there. I know you've always hated politics.
Regan, if Ruella could see you now, she'd be really proud of you.
Except for alchemy, I'm prettier, nicer, and just better than her in every way.
Do you remember the first time we met? If I could go back to those days, when I had no responsibilities, when everyone was still alive, and when I didn't have to be this angry and spiteful, I would do anything for it. Is there a potion for rewinding time?
When I was 11 and my aunt hasn't gone insane yet, I visited the palace for the first time, and it looked nothing but glamorous. There isn't, but I'll work on it. There, I met my handsome Prince Charming for the first time. Thinking about that day, I couldn't help but choke up a little.
Why were you alone with the prince at your workplace?
He had a couple of things he wanted to ask. You know, about things that happened recently.
I know you wanted to go to the Office of Investigation, but you're at the Office of Alchemy now. With magic slowly disappearing, alchemy is becoming the strongest weapon available to us. We're dealing with something so fascinating but deadly at the same time. There is absolutely no need for us to get involved in royal politics. Especially if you're part of the Office of Alchemy, you have to remain indifferent to your surroundings. Let the Office of Investigation take care of everything else.
I'm sorry.
You're no longer at the Academy. The prince and the princess are different people from us. You can't be friends with them like you used to, and most importantly, you shouldn't trust them.
Pardon?
Royalty is all about politics. Nothing good comes from being involved with them. They even use themselves as political tools, so just imagine how they treat others. You never know what they're planning. Don't associate yourself with the royals. I'm not saying this as your superior. I'm telling you this as your aunt's friend.
Did I just see a tear?
Regan, medicine may be fascinating, but it's deadly as well. If we make an error, never forget that it could harm others. And if that happens, you always have to take responsibility for it.
I must have lost my mind then. All the things people do for love. Daniel, he seems so tired. Someone's here? Who could it be at this hour?
It's me.
Caden?
It's not human blood, it's a wolf, so don't worry.
Do you want to clean up first?
Could I?
The bathroom is that way. But I haven't got any clothes for men.
That's okay. But before I go wash up, could you do a drug test on this?
A drug test?
It's a sample from 5 bodies. I'm sorry you had to see this.
Who do you think I am? I wanted to go to the Office of Investigation, remember? But if it's work-related, why not officially ask the Office of Alchemy for a drug test? That's standard procedure, plus I don't have the latest equipment.
It's a little side job I've been working on. Can you still help?
All right, go clean up. I'll run some tests.
I'll wear this until my clothes dry up.
I've got to run some more tests to be sure, but it's likely a drug-induced death. If these bodies have been dead for more than 5 years, a component analysis that is more accurate than a simple drug test can be conducted. Drug tests don't tell you everything.
Component analysis. Can you do it? They've been dead for about 5 years.
It'll take some time, but if you want me to, I'll do it. Is this all related to Prince William's death? Then it must be related to exonerating Ashe, so I'll help you as much as I can.
I think it might be. It's all theories at the moment.
The component analysis will take 3 hours to complete. Why don't you take a nap while you're waiting? You said it was wolf blood. What happened? The Office of Investigation must be tough. I'm glad I didn't apply.
Yeah, you made the right choice after all.
Excuse me? Don't you remember yelling at me in the library for applying to the Office of Alchemy?
Just keep yourself away from the Office of Investigation. You see all sorts of things there. You're too stupid for it anyways.
I should have just applied to the Office of Investigation. I would have crushed you in the entrance exam and graduated summa cum laude.
Regan.
Yeah?
When I told you to give up on Daniel, I didn't know things would become like this.
What's that got to do with you? You should be worried about yourself. I heard there are a lot of old bachelors at the Office of Investigation.
How about you?
I have work to do. I have no time for dating. Dating is for people who have the time for it. I told you, I have stuff to do.
Love is for people with the time for it. You're right.
You were always busy doing something since you were in high school.
You got that right. You would have made a good detective.
Caden in my dreams would often look at me that way. Hold on, let me make you some hot cocoa. And whenever he did, it felt like we were lovers.